Hey everybody, Anansi here from Ocean Esports with another Top 100 Dotabuff replay cast. Today we're going to be watching I CANT CHAT! Exclamation mark on the Clinkz. He has almost 3,000 matches played on this hero with a 58, almost 59% win rate. So we're going to see how the hell he managed to do that and what keeps this guy going. After so many games. I mean, 3,000. I think that's more Dota. That's more than the amount of Dota 2 games that I have played in total. So, what we do here, for those who don't know, is we watch everything from his perspective, from a top 100 Dotabuff player's perspective. We see how he moves his camera, what he sees, how he moves his mouse, and exactly we try to figure out what he's thinking, and we pay attention to what he's doing so we can potentially learn something. And I'm sure we can learn something. I think every single time up until now I have learned something, and already some key things you may have noticed is he's paying attention to the minimap very, very carefully. Does see where his opponents are, what they're doing, yeah, just ready to go, I'd say. Wow, his his buddy Shadow Shaman is really wanted that creep. In any case, he starts off with 1 point in Searing Arrows. He's a safe lane Clinkz. I do think different people play him in different lanes, but this one's playing safe lane. So he gets himself a circlet and a ring of protection to start off with some general regen to keep up whatever it is he thinks he will need. Gets the bounty rune as a carry should, and brings up the score screen, something I see these top 100 Dotabuff players doing a ton. Cannot stress enough, should do that whenever there's downtime, and gets himself a good block off. So this will be a safe laning phase that we'll be watching. Tri-lane by the looks of it versus an Nature's Prophet. Enigma just denying a creep for the Nature's Prophet to give him a bit of an advantage. Pretty sure as soon as that Prophet gets out of position, he'll be gone on. He'll be pushed back. Now, in all fairness, Clinkz is not going to be too great at killing multiple units, but somewhere it is more farm for him to have. And note, he does use the Searing Arrows in order to get rid of those creeps as quickly as possible. How much do they add exactly? 30 bonus damage at level 1. So he hits for 72. That's really hard. So you should normally be able to get tons and tons of last hits, although I have to admit he doesn't seem to be doing too well at the moment. Right now he's he's doing worse than the Shadow Shaman. But I'm sure that'll pick up, or at least I hope so. In any case, just working on getting those last hits, which are greatly messed with. Second point goes into Strafe, so this increases his attack speed for a short duration, short period of time, and especially in the early game can be very surprising. While moving there next to the secret shop, quickly upgrades his Ring of Basilius, which he still has on, so his lane will be pushing, but as I say it, he switches it off. So you do this because you don't want your creeps to have this aura, because then you're creating an armor imbalance and you're increasing the effective HP of your own creeps versus your opponents. Now, really good players will play with this to get the result that they want. So right now he switched it back on in order to have his creeps be just a little bit more tanky. And at certain points you can actually abuse this so that your opponent will time his last hits by quickly increasing and decreasing the armor that your creeps have. So if if you're up for that level of play, it's something to definitely make sure you do. One extra way that you can use your Ring of Basilius. In any case, it's already clear that he really adjusts the ring for what he wants to use it as. And, yeah, I'm really happy to see somebody being so on top of that, so to speak. Now they scare away the Nature's Prophet. He eats the tree that allows him to, with one tree gone, get a nice position, and that's a dead Prophet. You'll see Strafe is on, he just gets controlled, and along with Searing Arrows, that's a dead Prophet. So he just continues farming. Looks like he's going for Soul Ring first. Just picks up the pieces that he can while in lane. Do notice he gets the Sage's Mask first, and his teammate is very kind to block for him. Sadly enough, they need one more hit and they can't get that. But so he has a really significant amount of mana regen at this point, which will allow him to continuously use his Searing Arrows in order to secure last hits. And sure enough, he was second to last a little bit earlier. He's now fourth, vying for third. Top on his own team in any case when it comes to last hits. Mango incoming currently, if I'm not mistaken. And looks like the next pretty cheap item will be a Medallion of Courage. Do note that his teammates leave him alone. It helps him to get levels a little bit earlier. Oh, he finished up a Ring of Aquila. My mistake. So Ring of Aquila and Soul Ring. So really nice mana regen before he gets any boots, guys. Clinkz does have increased movement speed when invisible, so that is quite nice. And again, you see him switching off that Ring of Aquila right when he does not want the lane to push anymore, so decreasing the amount that the lane will be pushed. Had himself ferried over a mana potion as well, just to make sure that that mana is always up. I think a Clinkz without mana is probably a pretty useless Clinkz. Doesn't allow his opponent to get too close to the lane and just continues to take creeps down while keeping an eye on the state of the game. Who should he be worried about? Kind of preparing his game plan. Now, looks like he's happy with where the lane was, so takes out range creep first. Always want to make sure you get that creep because it's worth so much, at least in experience. And is happy with where the lane is, so to avoid a lane imbalance, he used Strafe for a second, and hereby keeps the lane equilibrium where he wants it to be. Notice that he has switched back on the Ring of Aquila, which may point to the fact that he might want to push. But in any case, also animation cancelling his attacks in order to get just a few more attacks in. Very good execution. So still not worrying about boots. With his first ult, gets his damage up, gets a, and yeah, probably gonna get into position to get a nice kill. If that Nature's Prophet steps out too far, that is one dead Nature's Prophet. There we go. Sadly enough, just a little bit too little, but at the very least, Nature's Prophet probably needs to go back to base. And it's good to keep your opponents honest. Note he did get some Gloves of Haste for the extra attack speed. All of this preferring to get damage and regen over movement speed. Not saying never get boots first, but also don't always do it. That's clearly what is being showed. Knowing that there's nobody in his lane, he's pushing quite hard at the moment. Still getting denies where he needs to get them because they give you XP nowadays. But in any case, ult is almost off cooldown and he makes sure to soul ring, clean up the stack, or sorry, the camp. Okay, and he doesn't go for the tower, there was somebody there. Picks up the bounty rune instead, invises, and then heads on back to the lane. I think he could finish his medallion of courage actually. But instead opts to get his treads. Treads in a Blightstone. Towers will already start to fall extremely fast. And doesn't want to push the tower with a Enigma there. So goes back into the forest. At this point he has enough regen to sustain taking out certain camps. And just stays in this top area. And will probably punish anybody who steps out a little bit too far. So there as well, one hit on the rage creep, then finish the creep he needs to. Just from a safe location-ish, push out the wave, keep the pressure on the top half of the map, which should force his opponents to rotate. It's a bit of a test. If somebody would have showed up, he probably wouldn't be pushing this right now. Now, Nature's Prophet is here. But that's not somebody he's too worried about. Waited patiently to finish off the catapult there. And look at him, he's 80 and 18. He's on top of the last hit charts. I believe. Okay, has forced out a fortification. And managed. No. The tower has not been taken yet. But if there's nobody to defend, then he will definitely take this tower. Looks like he's going to go for it. Gets it. And will probably finish his medallion of courage. Now, can he TP? Will he TP? No, he won't. Did not have his ult up, so opts to continue pushing. No rotations so far. It's only 12 minutes in, to be honest, so carries hopefully shouldn't have to rotate at this point unless things are going really horribly. And it seems like he does not feel that is the case. So okay, he has ulted a creep, doing a lot of extra damage now. So now he's going to go and look to make a move. Along with a double damage rune, somebody is going to melt in a second. Who's it going to be? He seems to have a feel for the fact that somebody's there, and sure enough, 3 hits. Bye bye Enigma. And then he goes invis straight away again. That is painful. Still has a double damage and is still affected by the buff from his ult. So, sure enough. Yes, even an Ursa will just melt Poor Clinkz. Sorry, Puck. Oh boy. In any case, from extreme patience, with one ult, 3 kills almost, that's a pretty pleasant beginning. 2,000 gold above everybody else at this point. Manages to get a nice creep to be buffed with again. Damage and HP increased. So, who's he gonna go for? Ideally, oof. The fact that he's ulted there is not very fortunate, but so. Wow. That opposing team did not manage to do much. Now, luckily he had a health potion handy. And decides to follow up his teammates. And just keep the ball rolling his team's way. Already more than halfway to his desolator. This looks to be a pretty simply executed and well played game. So these are just the basic, very standard items to be getting. Medallion of Courage, really nice synergy with Clinkz. Allows him to farm faster, kill heroes faster, and also tanks him up a little bit when he needs to be a little bit tankier if he leaves it on. Now, got himself a good creep, invises, and looks for a good target to take down. One such target is the bottom tower. Because Clinkz is not only good at killing heroes, he's also really good at taking down towers. So this is nice. He actually uses the mana potion while strafing in order to keep his mana pool up, and straight away is ready to go on the Nyx assassin, who thinks he's going Roche unnoticed. So he's down, and he'll probably end up taking Roche instead. Nope. Don't believe they're ready yet. Guessed completely wrong there where the Nature's Prophet would go. He just walked on out. So just keeping a good eye on what's going on with the opposing team's units. Still has a buff. Is he gonna try and... Yep. So just showed up, used Medallion very quickly on the Nature's Prophet, and then invis straight away. Like, he is invis right now, but it is yeah, wow, and then ganking along with the Nyx assassin. So while he's invis, his ability to go invisible is going off cooldown. So he'll be able to get out by the time, whew, so rough. He'll be able to get out by the time he decides to show himself. Uptime of the skill is very high. Waiting in order to be able to dominate a good creep, just a few seconds, and then he'll help in taking down tower. There is a double damage rune spawned bottom, which is very unfortunate for the opposing team, because that means he can take down just about anybody. And he's going to choose to take down Roche. Very important because it also keeps Roche away from Ursa. And cool, still has his double damage active. Probably not going to be able to do too much with that at this point though, although he can be extremely aggressive with that Aegis now. Just looking for kills. Because he's so far ahead, he can just continue to do so. Be a nuisance and farm up that way. He can also farm the enemy jungle if he needs or wants. Now, he just got hit by that Nature's Prophet ult, so he knows they have vision of him, because the only way that Nature's Prophet's ult hits you is if you are in vision of your opponents. It only hits things that are in vision. So, gets the hell out of there. They would have been on their way to him. And yeah, that would have been a little bit dangerous. Just continues to farm. Don't know yet what his next item will be. Maybe he'll finish his medallion as soon as he sees fit. Doesn't seem to care that he's walking on wards everywhere. Lets his teammate initiate first and seems to... yeah, seems like he's going to wrap around and clean everybody up from behind. Or not. Okay. Looking for a creep first. Invises. Checks out the situation. And feels there's nothing to be done. Although... no. Doesn't do anything unless he knows someone's alone. He has Aegis though, so sure enough he can just pop on back and get another kill. Again, straight back. Notice how many times this guy has been back to base. Almost none. He has regen to sustain him for ages. So again, staying power is something this guy is really good at. He has enough mana and health regen that he almost never needs to go back to base. Hitting Ancients like it's nothing, and is going to go for a sheep stick next. Now don't forget guys, this is 22 minutes into the game. He has a lot of gold and goes for a sheep stick instead of the normal orchid. Quite nice to see this as a change. Control is a lot better, of course. Sheep stick is one that is probably the best single control item there is. Single target control. And will he be able to pick somebody off? There was a Bloodseeker behind him. Looks like he's still wanting to go for the puck. Sees his teammates may need help and wraps around. But doesn't seem to be able to get to the fight in time. So he doesn't go in. He doesn't try to get something extra. He doesn't overextend or run in after his teammates when they died. Just gets what he can. The only time he did do it, he had an Aegis. He did get killed, but yeah, it's technically not a death if you have an Aegis. very quick to go invis if opponents are showing up unexpectedly. And very careful about when he does go for a kill or not. Don't forget, guys, this is your position 1 you've been watching. Wow, that was... wow, that must have been luck. No way that was based on the Ursa. I think he was already TPing. Extremely fast though. Ooh. So the Nature's Prophet does get away there. However, it's important to note that he doesn't just hit the Nature's Prophet as soon as he can hit him, but he gets as close to the hero as he can first, and then hits them, and therefore gets more hits in as the hero is running away, which is a very important aspect of Clinkz. Where you position the hero, respective to the target, will determine how much you'll be able to do, because that's almost all you have. All you have is damage, so you better make sure you're able to deal the damage you want to deal. Just stopping the push. Very mobile, so he can get all over the map, and this will be the first time, it seems, that he goes back to base in order to regenerate. Still, though, keeping an eye on how the game is going for his teammates. And it seems like he will likely push out this top lane. Sheepstick. Close to done. That'll be quite the nuisance for the puck. And it seems like that's quite the objective for I Can't Chat. There we go. He's got it. So now he should be able to take down almost any target there is. As the opponents are focusing top, he's on the other side of the map, looking for targets that are by themselves, like Nature's Prophets. That's where Nature's Prophets want to be, away from their opponents. So just a quick hex followed up by an instant Medallion of Courage for a nice and quick kill. Very, very quick succession of skills, items being used. And now, knowing that the split pusher is gone, is finally content to join his teammates in fighting. Again, just gets himself a nice big creep. Ursa takes the bait and will pay the price. Nobody wants to even get close to the hero. Will he go for the hero? He wraps around for the person that thinks he's safe. So that's what Clinkz does. Constantly picking, that's what this player at least does, is constantly picking off the heroes that are alone, those that are not with his team. And that's the role of any ganker, any burster, is to find those that are by themselves and make sure that their team has some type of advantage in that sense. And then of course Clinkz can push with the best of them. And it looks like they're not going to overstay their welcome. And just systematically taking objectives. Shrines, ready to take an eventual Roshan. And slowly moving into position, farming still, but being ready to defend the top push of their opponents if necessary. So again, just looking for any potential kill along with his teammates. Ursa drops like a fly. Very coordinated. Everybody knows when to go. They all go together at the same time. And this is going to be a pretty quick death. One hit the racks. So much damage. And now because the creeps are in the base up top, there is no backdoor protection in the whole base. So this is going to be another easy lane. And TP's instantly top. He doesn't wait around, doesn't hesitate for something or what to do. Was probably has had this top push in the back of his mind the whole time. And just finishes it off. Shows up to protect the lane. Definitely has his opponents raging. It's always good if you can manage to do that. Unsettle them, get them out of playing the game they're used to playing. And all that while not chatting at all, just playing. Apparently he cannot chat. I haven't seen him say a word, so... In any case, just slowly pushing top. Close things out. While killing some extra creeps, finishes up an AC, so he's gonna be pretty tanky to be honest. Especially when he has his ult, or when he's affected by the buff from his ult. I mean, the armor will work nicely. And even with the mischance here, he has enough mana regen to take down the tower. Make sure to stay spread for an eventual Enigma ult. And systematically takes out every building he can safely. It looks like the opposing team is not going to be defending this anymore. So, guys, I hope you learned something about how to play Clinkz. Again, so far these guys haven't been the flashiest, haven't done the most amazing plays, but these are the consistent things you can do in order to win your games as these respective heroes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe, give us a like, crits, comments, anything, and yeah, see you at the next video. Bye!